You know, I started off this generation with the PlayStation 5 with extreme high hopes for Sony, their console, for everything that they were doing because they had really kind of skunked Microsoft in a major way going back to last generation. So I obviously thought that they were going to do absolutely amazing things, and I thought that, you know, the PlayStation 5 was going to be it, and I thought the PlayStation 5 was going to be like the thing that everybody had. And I mean, listen, it's a very good console and people are buying it clearly, but there's a lot of little things that are kind of lining up that are really starting to tick myself off, and I think tick other people off as well. So we have to keep that in mind with things like this, and these types of announcements are disappointing. It feels like a slap in the face as someone who has invested in the platform and have spent, you know, and even back when I supposedly quote unquote hated PlayStation, a lot of people, you know, would think that I hated PlayStation. It wasn't the case. I was hard on them for sure, but it's like, for me, I feel like it's a straight up slap in the face when I actually spent more on PlayStation and PlayStation products than the average person who fanboys about them online. So you can imagine my dismay when stuff like this comes up. I want to get into this because I feel like this is a topic that I haven't seen hardly anybody talk about, but it's a worthwhile topic nonetheless. I'm sure some people will continue to make excuses for, you know, Sony, their behavior, what they're doing, but I just can't do that anymore. So, you know, I got to be honest about this. What's up, everybody? If you're watching the video, please leave a like on the video. I'm looking to get 100 likes on each of the videos. It helps out tremendously, and it just means a lot to me personally, so please do so. But so I saw this PlayStation VR 2 won't be backwards compatible with PSVR according to Sony. Here we are, folks, in 2022, and this might not even come out till 2023, and backwards compatibility isn't going to be a thing on this. I get that it's different technology, but you would think that it would be easy enough to adapt that or to use that. I don't understand why it's such a difficult task when it comes to PlayStation to make things a little bit more, you know, agile or better user friendly. Sony says it's because PSVR 2 is designed to deliver a next gen VR experience. Speaking on the PlayStation Blog podcast, SVP of Platform Experience Hideki Nashino said that PSVR games are not compatible with PSVR 2 because PSVR 2 is going to be a truly next-generation VR experience. PSVR 2 has much more advanced features, like all new controllers with haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, and inside-out tracking, eye tracking, in the headset, 3D audio, all coming together, of course. So this means developing PSVR 2 requires a whole different approach from the original PSVR. But still, to me, honestly, there doesn't appear to be any technical reason why PSVR games wouldn't be able to be ported to PSVR 2, but the number of developers likely willing to do that work is unknown. Again, I personally do not understand how anybody would be okay with this. Okay, so when the new product comes out, like PSVR was already niche, right? I bought it. You know, you spent $400 for this thing, and that was without the sticks or whatever. You know, I dropped over $500 and I bought two of these systems, by the way, over 70 games. Some of the games I haven't even played yet. Sometimes I'll just buy them if they're on sale or whatever with the intent to go to them later. But when a new product comes out, the games are probably going to be slow in coming, right? You're probably going to get, because the games for the main console are slow in coming right now. Like, honestly, it's a very slow time. So having backwards compatibility to be able to play games that you already own would be a huge, huge deal. You know, being able to go back and play these games. I don't understand why they would do that. PlayStation VR games that debuted exclusively on the platform, such as Moss 2, have later been ported to other headsets like the MetaQuest 2. PlayStation VR 2 is planned for release in early 2023, according to this, and Sony said earlier this year that it will have more than 20 games ready for the launch of VR 2. Right now, there's a considerable amount of money being spent on partnerships with independent and other third-party developers to secure a considerable pipeline of attractive VR content at the launch of the PSVR 2, says Jim Ryan. That energy and effort and that money will continue to grow as the installed base of VR 2 headsets grows also. So they're basically saying, you know, they'll increase output after, you know, these things start selling better. During Sony's CES 2022 keynote in January, the company first shared official technical specs and confirmed the name as well. But again, this is something that I'm kind of disappointed with because you have Yoshida, who also says indies will take the risks on VR 2. So, speaking At GI Live 2022, attended by VGC, PlayStation head of independent developer initiative Yoshida discussed the upcoming virtual reality hardware and where he thinks indie games will fit into the lineup when it releases next year. He says there are big games like Horizon Call of the Mountain and Resident Evil Village, and yes, they're amazing, but it's the indies in my mind that really take the risk because they want to make games on VR. He said indies have been waiting for this next VR boom. Yoshida explained, referring to different people behind Rez and Tetris Effect who had previously worked on VR projects at Sega in the 90s. In an interview with VGC earlier this year, they told us that he is very interested in working with Sony's new platform. Yoshida also spoke about the growing VR market and how industry leaders such as Meta have pushed the space forward. Meta's main headset, the wireless Oculus Quest 2, was released with high critical acclaim to a wide adoption in the VR space. The VR market is small and still growing thanks to Meta doing a great job promoting Quest, so more people are coming into trying VR for the first time, but still, compared to console gaming, it's a subset and a growing market. As of December 2019, Sony reported that it sold over 5 million units of the original PSVR, and PlayStation VR 2 is planned for next year's release. Sony said earlier this year it would have more than 20 games ready for the launch, and they also recently revealed that PlayStation VR 2, like I said, won't be backwards compatible, PlayStation VR won't be backwards compatible with anything. So speaking on that, it's a little bit of a disappointment when we see something like that happen. I really would like to see it be backwards compatible and offer, the things that, we're all looking for and the things that we love. So, I actually want to see what happens in the future with, VR, and I want to see it be successful. But why sideline people? You have to keep, your both headsets out. These things are bulky. I guess I was planning to kind of replace the space that I have PSVR 1 with the PSVR 2 stuff. So I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And it is disappointing and feels pretty much like a slap in the face. And I realize that people are going to think that that's a little bit dramatic. But honestly, it's not. It's just how I feel about it. And I actually hope that Sony kind of goes out there and changes their mind or does something, because I just feel like in this day and age, and this thing's releasing in 2023, how in the hell are you going to have this thing where you're not going to be able to play the games that you already have? Why alienate already a niche install base? Like, it doesn't make any sense, and it's disappointing, to say the least, and 20 games may sound like a lot, but honestly, when it comes to VR, you kind of get through those fast, and you might not even be interested in all of those. So yeah, it definitely feels like they're kind of taking things out on the fans and giving us a little slap in the face for those of us that spent all that money on PlayStation VR, and now we're not able to really take our games with us or anything like that. I just feel like I thought we were past those times. Like, it already ticks me off to no end when we see, and I don't mean to jump on Nintendo, but Nintendo is a prime candidate. Like, how many times do I need to buy Mario Brothers 3 from them? I bought it, on various handhelds. I bought it on various consoles. Why can't I just have a license for that game whenever they release it? Let me be able to play the game. It doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense not to be able to do that. So I actually hope that they do that and that they figure out some kind of way to do this, because they're not going to get a high adoption rate for this if they keep going in this direction. So I'm sure you all have a lot to say on this, though. Let me know what you think. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.